On today's episode, we go over D15 B8 sadness. Here it is, D15 B8 that comes stock in the 92 Civic CX. This is the Canadian model. You can see right there. And so I looked on Wikipedia and got kind of excited, or as excited as you can get over D-Series, because it actually said that it had a D15 B7, which is the 100 horsepower engine. So I was like, oh man, if that is in this car, that'll be great. It'll be so much fun to be able to just go out right away and start tracking with that engine. I can focus on suspension and wheels and tires. Then I got home and I looked and double checked and it says D15 B8 and I was like, ah. Just for those of you who don't know, D15 B8 is probably the worst D-Series ever made. Well, I should say it's the best D-Series for fuel economy. In its day, this car probably got 42 miles per gallon, which in 92, that was like, holy crap, that's amazing. But for my purposes and wanting to race it and track it, remember, this is a sole track car. I don't drive it every day. So I really just want to race it. The engine is kind of, it's sad. 70 horsepower at the crank, so at the wheels, oh my god. But you can see that it has been touched a little bit. These guys, whoever had it before, I don't think it was the person I bought it from, but whoever had it before thought it would be cool to do this blue chipped valve cover. But everything else you can see really is stock. They went ahead, I know this is a new BWD distributor cap because they started doing that brown more recently. The wires look pretty new, pretty good. Let's see, the coolant, I mean, it was good. I know the radiator was actually replaced. Probably can't see that too well, but it is a newer radiator, newer hose up top too, new cap. Does have the AC you see. However, the AC is not working, and that's no problem at all. I'm going to be taking that out anyway. We'll get more to that later. But you can see they kept the belt here just in case someone wanted to fix it. The more I started looking at this engine, I kind of started questioning what even it is. Because I'm sitting here, I see it's a D15 B8 on the block. Okay, great. Then you look at the valve cover, and some of you more keen observers will have noticed already, it's a 16 valve cover. Now I realize that doesn't mean that the whole head was swapped out. That just means that someone may have taken the valve cover off of something and wanted to paint it. But I'm curious. When Travis and I drove this car the other day that you've already seen, it didn't feel terrible. I know what a D-Series feels like. I have it in my red car. That's the 100 horsepower D16 Y7 it comes with. This car I know is lighter by at least 400 pounds, 300 pounds maybe, but it didn't feel that bad. So I'm wondering, did someone mess with the head? Is the head possibly off the D15 B7? Another reason I started to wonder that is because also on this intake manifold, maybe some of you all who are more familiar with D-Series will be able to tell me, but pretty sure that's not how that came, just all plugged up. And I know some of the intake manifolds from different D-Series have different vacuum lines, coolant lines, whatever, that go through them. So what I'm gonna be doing today is taking off this valve cover, and we'll see what the hell is under there, so we can finally figure out this engine situation. Got it popped. Oh my god. You guys, you will never see someone happier to know that they have a D15 B7. 100 horsepower head on top of my D15 B8 block. I was so curious because of that intake manifold and them blocking that off with the vacuum line. But look, all 16 valves. There's that vacuum line. You know, I kept wondering about that, man. This intake manifold looks nice and new. I'm just like, what in the hell is going on with this engine? But that's so cool, you guys. I really need to get a freaking RPM gauge now. I think the car initially felt so slow to me because I didn't know what the heck, man. I'm like giving it the gas, but I don't know where it's cutting off at. I didn't even get to the fuel cutoff. And that kind of brings me to another point I was just talking to Travis about through text. I wonder what the ECU is, and Attack would help me find that out right away, because the fuel cutoff on the D15 B8 was 5,800 RPM. Now if it's the D15 B7, it should rev up to 6,400 RPM before it redlines. So that's the next thing. I gotta get Attack. But I am so happy, you guys, because I can get out on track faster. I can focus my money right now on suspension, wheels, and tires, which has always been my thought process. Doing an engine swap first and leaving suspension and tires to be stock, yeah, that's not the way that I picture it to be for racing. So I'm super happy to have this D15 B7, 100 horsepower. We're gonna get it ready. My money is gonna be focusing on the suspension, mainly coilovers right now, and really nice wheels and tires. And wow, I'm so excited. Stay tuned. Good morning, you guys. The episode is not done yet. So I definitely got excited that I found the 16 valve head on the B8 block yesterday. That's super cool. However, the more I got to start thinking about it, I'm like, well, did they do this right? So I was somewhat familiar on how the head swap works, like what parts you need, like ECU, injectors, the head itself, what cam gear you're using, what crank pulley, but I needed to look into the process a bit more. So after doing some research online last night, I came across, the specific parts that are needed. First thing that I think I need to do is I need to verify that that is the B7 head. I believe it is because it's the non-VTEC version. The other ones that are commonly used are like the D16 Z6, which I believe was the VTEC head off of the newer year model Civic. That changes things a lot more. I'm gonna go ahead and crack that valve cover off again. We'll see what the code is on the head and look that up. I'm not familiar with those codes, so we need to find out what the head is. I'm also gonna be taking a look at the ECU and then the O2 sensor, different parts. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm looking and I don't think I need to take the valve cover off. I think it's this number right behind here are a series of letters and numbers just behind the exhaust manifold. So I'm gonna take that off and then we'll see what we see. So you can see here that on the block is a PM9-4 is the head code. No, it's the 16 valve, so another problem, or something that I know is not right off the bat, is that the ECU is wrong for the car. See, it says the P05 in the middle there. The P05 was actually for the D15B8, the CX. Regardless of what the head is right now, even if it's the D15B7, it is way underpowered according to that ECU. And we also got to find out what the injectors are, because if the injectors are still from a B8, then that's really bad too. There's not enough flow. So we got some stuff to figure out here. To complete this whole swap, I mean, there are many more steps. Not many more, but there are more steps than what I've covered already. One big thing is you have to make sure that the pistons are the 4-valve pistons to accept a 16-valve head. 16-valve head, there are 4 valves per cylinder. On the B8s, the D15 B8, some of them came with the 4-valve pistons. Some of them came with 2-valve pistons. What that means is there are actual cutouts in the top of the piston where the valve comes down and seats just above the piston. If you do not have those 4 cutouts for 4 valves, you're going to be damaging and breaking the valves if you put a 16-valve head on. You may be like, Robbie, you haven't taken off your cylinder head. How do you know if the pistons are 4-valve or not? Well, it's true, and I don't know. However, this car has been running like this for a while. It was definitely like that as I bought it. I drove it home 3 hours from Fort Lauderdale. Travis and I were ragging on the thing. I've driven it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel if there were 2 valves per piston in this car, I would have blown it up a while ago. At the very least, there would be some horrendous knocking and clicking sounds. The car wouldn't run as smoothly as it does. Tell me, do you think I should pull the head off this thing to make sure that there are 4 valves for a piston? I feel like there is. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, I would like to keep this to track it on a couple times, you know, if not more. So I want it to last for a bit. But again, I think it is okay. So something else to point out is the O2 wire in the sensor, if you can see that or not. But the D15B8, it only requires an O2 sensor that has 1 wire coming out of it. The D15B7 will have an O2 sensor with 4 wires coming out of it. They're both still OBD1, so I personally don't know why that is, the difference between that. I'll look it up, tell me if you want, but that is also something to take note of. I think we've made some progress. The head, I believe, is off of a D15B7. The PM9 head code is from a D15B7. There are a bunch of different variations after that. It signifies like what region it came from. Like some are from Canada, some are from the US, some are from Africa. So Civics were all over the world, you know, so there are different slight variations in these head codes, and that made it kind of confusing for a second. So D15B7 head on a D15B8 block. It is still the B8 transmission from the CX. Probably gonna be like the DX, like it's very long, tall gears. It's not gonna be short shifting. You know, I'm kind of used to that already in my DX, my red car. I think it's gonna work fine for getting out to the track now. And again, you guys, an engine swap is going to happen. A B series is coming into this car. I want that, and it will happen. But I want to get out there quick, you know, I want to be able to go out with my friends soon. And this engine right here is at least going to make me respectable on track. If I had 70 horsepower out there, oh my God, like I don't even think I would want to go. It would be embarrassing and awful. At least with this, I'll be good to go. Keep up with other Honda D series. You know, Trav has the Honda D series. Maybe he and I can be competitive, you know, that would be great as a start. I've checked out everything else. Just to give you a quick overview, the intake manifold is off of, or it's a P08. So I believe that could be the D16 or D15 VTEC. Let's see, the fuel rail, I'm not quite sure. I feel like the fuel rail is off of a D16 based off of the numbers that are on it. I'm looking at my little cheat sheet here. I went through and wrote everything down so I know what I have in my car and what I'm looking at and be able to describe it to you. Cam gear is the 38 tooth. It is off of either the B7 or the B8, but I mean, if they pulled the whole head from a B7, I'd imagine they just left that cam gear as well. And then the only question mark that I have at the moment are the injectors. If that fuel rail is off of a D16, I would imagine they pulled the injectors with it too. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but the ECU should just be able to take care of that once I get the proper ECU in here. Really, I think that's gonna be the next step. I'm gonna be going to U-Pull and try to find a D15 B7 or the P06 ECU to properly run this thing. We'll see if we can check out those check engine lights and clear those, do some general maintenance, and try to get this baby on track. Thank you guys for bearing with me this episode. I know it's kind of all over the place, or it feels that way to me right now anyway. We'll see how it goes in the edit. Leave any comments, suggestions. If you know of something that is in this engine that I don't, like a part that you see, you know, please let me know. Let's talk about this thing. So I'm super excited to get out there, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Awesome!
That holds on, not too bad. I was fucking flogging it through there.
I was like, man, we're gonna go right through that glass window.
No, I got this.